I'm about to pass out. But the pain, I was just screaming. I was on my hands and knees, rocking back and forth in pain. And so again, my son's father calls an ambulance, and I get rushed to the hospital. And within 2 hours, I wake up and I'm in an ICU. I'm attached to a bunch of machines. And it turned out that my gallstones had traveled to my pancreas. And I don't have my pancreas plushie. It's all the way across the room. So I'm just going to explain this to you the best I can. So what had happened was my gallstones, your gallbladder is right behind your pancreas, kind of. And you have these ducts that basically connect all of your organs. And what happened was my gallstones traveled through my gallbladder into my pancreas, through my pancreatic ducts that are in my pancreas, and they got lodged into my pancreas, causing me to have a severe blockage in my pancreas, and my pancreas essentially, exploded in simplest terms, and I ended up with very severe chronic gallstone pancreatitis. When I got rushed to the hospital that night, I almost died multiple times, and within 2 hours, they figured out what was wrong with me, and my pancreas was very close to just like shitting the bed, basically. The gallstones had caused such a severe blockage in my pancreas, and the pancreatitis was so severe that my pancreas had a pancreatic pseudocyst on it, where fluid was just building up on top of my pancreas, causing this huge cyst that was putting me into organ failure. It was causing me to go septic, and it was just absolutely awful. And so at this point, I am in the hospital for 4 months. 4 months at this point, and they finally were able to take out my gallbladder. But even after they took out my gallbladder, the pancreatitis continued. At this point, I've been in the hospital for 10 months. I was in ICU for about a good 8-9 of those months, and then I got put into step-down ICU, and then I got put down into a regular bedroom, and then finally around the 10-month mark of being in the hospital, I was able to go home. Now, during those 10 months, it was just awful. Feeding tubes through my nose. I was in a coma for 3 days. I almost died many, many times. So much treatment. I began losing weight. Just so many awful complications. But then 2017, when I got out of the hospital after those 10 months, and it took me a while to get back to myself, I finally kind of went into remission. So I had this 1 year in 2017 where I did really well, and I was able to go back to work. I had a really great job at Lowe's, where I was the head of the home decor department, and I helped people decorate their homes. And life was getting back to normal. That only lasted for so long because 2018 came around, and my pancreatic pseudocyst started causing me to have really severe pancreatitis again. And the pseudocyst was just growing and growing, and no matter what my doctors did to drain it, they put in stents, they opened me up completely to drain it, it kept growing back. So at this point, this happened. I got sick again on Mother's Day of 2018. So from Mother's Day to 2018 to now, I have basically just been deteriorating nonstop. And so basically, Mother's Day of 2018, I went into the hospital. I got transferred to Mass General for the first time, and now all of my care gets taken care of at Mass General, and I have a huge team, a surgeon, a bunch of specialists, a complex care team. And so basically, after a few months of being in the hospital, once my pancreatitis came back and my pseudocyst was just putting me into organ failure, causing me to go septic again, my team came in and said, Justin, I'm sorry, but we have to perform a Whipple on you. If we don't, this pseudocyst and the pancreatitis, it's going to kill you. So a lot of you might know what a Whipple is. A Whipple, like if you watch Grey's Anatomy, you might hear about the Whipple surgery a lot. A Whipple is when, one second. A Whipple is when they go in, they open you completely, and they remove about a portion of your pancreas. It's usually the tail of your pancreas, and then they'll remove your entire spleen. For me, it was about 70% of my pancreas. So not only the tail, but also the mid region as well. And I was left with about 30% of my pancreas. They also took my entire spleen, and then they had to reroute a lot of my intestines. So I was very, very sick. So they did the Whipple. Sadly, the Whipple did fail because that little 30% of my pancreas that remained continued to have really severe pancreatitis. So I'm still in the hospital at this point for months on end. And so they come back and they say, hey, Jessin, we think we need to remove your entire pancreas and do an islet cell transplant.